Hello, this is group 4. My name is Samaya and I'll be getting us started. Our topic on this project was growth. It was based on Unit 2, and we chose to focus on immigration in New York City, which is extremely important. This slide, it just shows our presentation in its parts, who will be presenting, and its order. Here we decided to add pictures of what Manhattan has looked like recently. Within the past few years, immigration has increased tremendously in New York City, leaving countless families with little to no resources and sleeping on the streets outside of Manhattan hotels. With the policies remaining unchanged, it is inevitable there will be more migrants that will arrive in the coming months despite the winter season. And here you could just see the migrant families that are protesting for more resources, along with, advocates as well that have been fighting for them. And here you can see migrants that have been sleeping on the floor on cardboard. And, I'm going to pass it on to Tasia.
Okay, yes. The migrants that have been arriving uh, since the Biden administration has increased dramatically, as you can see on the chart, from 2020, from 2021 to 2023. This is the Biden era. As you can see, during Obama's era, it was fairly low and steadily increasing, even into Trump's era. But before in 2020, before Biden took office, Trump decided to put in a stop to the numbers of asylum seekers that were arriving, due to I guess the mismanagement of the intake process that he had, where families were being separated right at the border. Some the parents were being sent back home, and the children were uh, taken to foster care or in encampments, where sometimes they had to fend for themselves and only had the border patrol as overseers, as the adults who oversee them. So the demographic of the layout of asylum seekers that have been arriving have been mothers, women of childbearing age, children as young as infants, and even some of the mothers or women would arrive pregnant and go through that journey to come to the U.S. and were bused or took planes to. Well, I think they were bused. They were bused from Texas or Florida into New York City, and there about 2,000 arrived daily. Um, so they said, I guess maybe once a week since August of this year. And we have also males from around the age of 20 to 40 that were arriving as well. And they came from places like South America, Venezuela, Colombia, El Salvador, Nicaragua, and some places in the Caribbean islands like Puerto Rico, like the Dominican Republic and Haiti. Also, lots of Africans were coming from the Congo, the Republic of Congo, Nigeria, Mali. Most people thought that it was only concentrated in South America because of Venezuela was going through a major embargo with the United States, where no trade was allowed to come into their homeland. and they're suffering lacking of food and basic subsidies, basic quality of life issues they were having. So that's why they mainly took the journey to arrive to to the U.S. You can go to the next slide. See what's there. Yes, this also this demonstrates the journey the amount of people that arrived during the Trump era to the Biden's era. Although Biden said he was not receiving migrants, they came anyway because the stop the the I'm not sure what it's called. The halt that Trump put in, Biden reversed it and took it off. So that's why um, asylum seekers were coming in the thousands. Thank you. That's
So in this slide, we see the increase of migrants that have came to New York City since COVID. It has increased tremendously in the past year. This is one of the current trends we are noticing with the lack of employment and rising economy. The US has spent more than 1 billion in housing, food, and other material for these migrants, leaving the country in huge debt that didn't fix any real problems in NYC. These migrants are still facing housing problems, food problems, and resources that they are not receiving on a daily. As said before, they are sleeping outside in tents, and it's just not working out for them. Next slide, please. With this chart, we see an increase of NYC citizens moving out of NYC and more migrants moving in. This is another ongoing trend that probably will keep increasing, and in the amount of this is a trend that probably will keep increasing, and the amount of unemployed people will also increase due to there being more migrants. A lot of people are leaving NYC due to such increase in migrants coming in. However, that's still leaving a lot of people unemployed. It's suspected we will be receiving more migrants in the months coming, but there's also a chance that there will be more money being spent on these migrants, still leaving NYC full of unresolved problems. With more money coming in, these migrants still aren't receiving the resources that they need. People are still leaving and more migrants are still coming in, which is still going to be a problem for NYC. Thank you.
Here, I will be talking about the multiple challenges that the migrants have been receiving. Let me just pin myself really quickly. Okay. The challenges that the migrants are going through at the moment. Sorry. So due to the influx of migrants from the US-Mexican border in the past year, space has been very scarce in shelters, causing whole families to sleep in tents outside of hotels, and some are even sleeping in schools. Here in this box, I have provided information about the right to shelter mandate that New York City has in place, which came about in the 80s due to a lawsuit that requires the city to provide shelter to any homeless person who asks for one. And many experts believe that this mandate is the reason why we have so many migrants coming in, besides the fact that Mayor Adams declared us a sanctuary state. And there's not enough money or resources to be able to help a big chunk of these families coming in because of the pace that they're coming in. And since those who are coming to New York seeking asylum are illegal, they have to fill out an application and wait at least 6 months for a work permit. And due to the staff shortage in a lot of these agencies, these social service agencies, a lot of their applications are getting backed up, and it's very hard for these families to receive caseworkers that can go through their stuff. So Not only is that happening, but there is a lot of unaccompanied minors that are coming to New York without their families. They're by themselves, and they would go to sponsor programs and stuff like that because, you know, they're alone. And some are also still living on the streets. They're being forced to work in harsh labor conditions and getting paid the littlest amount of money. They're also being taken advantage of. They're being victimized and exploited physically and sexually. Here I have included data charts on the unaccompanied minors that have come into New York City in the past year. There are currently 8,477 unaccompanied minors released to sponsors in New York City as of September of 2023. And here, this shows the amount of money that they are going to spend within the next 3 years to be able to provide resources and help a lot of these migrants. So they are looking to spend at least $12.3 billion. And here this shows the amount of individual families in orange that are in shelters, and the blue shows the amount of single people that are in the shelters. It is about 75,000 migrant families within the shelter system as of April of 2023. The staff shortage in multiple social service agencies have been very large. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, there has been a lot of people leaving their jobs due to the vaccine mandates, a high risk of getting sick, and not being paid. The paperwork that needs to be processed for a lot of these families to get the resources they need is backed up, and nobody's putting it into the system, so they're left to wait months and months for actual help. And with the rapid pace of these migrants coming in, it is important that we fill these roles. I'm going to show you next a slide that I provided links. If people want to pursue a career in something like this and want to make a difference, here I put there's always a chance to make a difference somehow. Yeah. So here are the links. These agencies, they have a large amount of case managing, outreach, and advocate roles to choose from in the multiple programs that they have to offer, whether it's youth shelters, DV shelters, community programs, housing programs, hotlines, childcare, and court jobs. They're always looking for help. So, thank you.